Welcome to Everyday Linux User. In today's video I'm going to be talking about distrowatch.com. This isn't a specific video about Linux per se, it's about the website distrowatch.com, which tells you everything you need to know about Linux. It's not a tutorial site, but it tells you about all the latest distributions, the latest releases, the latest software and things like that. So I'm going to take you around the site. If you're new to Linux, this is a key resource. And is a good place to start. It's a good resource to know about, and it'll help you understand the latest features of Linux, the latest distributions, what there is out there. So consider this your Linux superstore. So the website DistroWatch has been around for at least 20 years, and I think I've used it all the time since I found out about it. It is a key resource for me. I really enjoy this site. Obviously it's ad supported, which is why you get these ads, but the main thing here is you've got your latest news and updates down the middle, and it gives you the latest information about different releases, so Red Hat, LibreElec, OpenSUSE in this case, and you can filter this based on a particular distribution. So if I wanted to do it on Ubuntu, it tells me every single release and news article about Ubuntu that DistroWatch has, and so you can look through and see what's happened about Ubuntu. You can also look about a specific release. You can limit it to stable releases, so quite often the releases here talk about alpha releases, beta releases, stable releases. So if you're only interested in the ones that are full releases, then you can limit this to stable. You can also choose the ones that are for a particular year. It'd be interesting to see what's in 2001. And there you go, Mandrake developers are in the mood. They have released a snapshot of the current cookie directory. Look at this one, Mandrake 8.1 easier than Windows XP. Mandrake at the time, they renamed it to Mandriva, was actually one of the best distributions that there was. And you got this Licorice. Hardware support at the time wasn't so great. So down the middle you've got all your latest news and updates. Down the left hand side you've got all the latest distributions. So Arch has an update on the 1st of May. I think they update once a month their ISO images, but obviously it's a rolling release, therefore once you've installed it you don't have to keep installing it again and again. There's Calculate Linux, there's KDE and Neon, there's all these other distributions that have been released since the 27th of April. And then down here we've got latest headlines, and that gives you news resource about Linux, and you can do see more on that. And you can see all the latest press releases from all the different Linux distributions. Now the pop-up ads may be a bit annoying, but you have to appreciate that DistroWatch do need to earn money to keep going. But you can see there's history all the way through to October 2023. But it actually goes back all the way to 2016, look. So if I refresh that, you can see what was released in 2016. So 3CX are a sponsor of DistroWatch, so obviously if you want to make the money, you can, or you're interested in 3CX, continue with that. And then down here we've got the latest packages, so it's not all about distributions, it's also about the packages that we use in Linux. So there's a new version of VirtualBox, Calibre, GIMP, GTK, LibreOffice, now at 24.2.3. There's a new Chromium, there's a new Flatpak, new MySQL, etc. We've got the latest reviews, so if you want to see reviews about different distributions, they're down here. There's only 3 of them in the past week. Latest newsletters, so you can see a bit more about Linux Mint there. Latest podcasts. Now this is a good thing. I mean, if you work at a desk all day and you need some background noise to help you work, then something I quite like to do is listen to podcasts. Or so you can listen to these podcasts whilst out for a walk or whilst exercising, or but they're usually a mixture of information and entertainment, so definitely worth checking some of these out. Down here you've got this random distribution thing, and it tells you, it picks a distribution gives you information about that distribution, and then down here you got tips, tricks, Q&As. So the left hand side tells you all about the latest releases, latest packages, and a bit more information as well, like news. And the bit that everyone really enjoys is the DistroWatch rankings. Now, I did a video last week where I took the top 25 of these for the last 6 months, and I did a short review of all of them and how suitable they are for the everyday Linux user. And some people misconstrued the list as my top 25 of what I thought were the top 25 distributions. It wasn't. It was me listening through these and saying, is this suitable for the everyday Linux user? Is this suitable for the everyday Linux user? And I got comments like, FreeBSD isn't a Linux distribution. No, but it's in the list. So that's why it was there, and I skipped past it fairly quickly. But this list here, it's a page hit ranking. So this isn't really, is MX Linux the most popular Linux distribution on planet Earth? What it's saying is, for everyone that comes to this website, MX Linux is the one that's been looked at most. Just a page, it's not even a download hit, it's just, if you click into here for MX Linux, that will add one to the page hit counter. So for each of these distributions on the list, when you click in, you get all this information about the distribution. So for instance, you get what type is it? Is it Linux or BSD? What's it based on? Where does it originate from? What architectures does it run on? What desktop environments does it use? What category is it? So like MX Linux can run on the Raspberry Pi or it can run on the desktop. Is it still active, or has it fallen by the wayside? And then how many hits per day onto this page. That's not how many hits, how many downloads MX Linux has had. It's how many hits on this page. And then down here you've got a link to the home page. You've got a link to the user forums. So this is where DistroWatch is really good. It gives you a précis of information about the distribution itself. But it links to the website, links to the forums, links to the documentation, gives you some screenshots, gives you screencasts. So if I wanted to see some videos about MX Linux, I can go here. And I've got a whole host of videos I can watch about MX Linux if I choose to do so. You've got bug trackers, related websites, and a feature I like are the reviews. Each of these are reviews about MX Linux. And you'll notice a theme here. There's Denomado and there's Dark Duck. I like both of these guys. I've always enjoyed reading their reviews. I used to be a Linux blogger as well, so I used to write about Linux, and my reviews used to land on these pages. But because I do videos don't seem to show up on as a review. But if you want to read how good is MX Linux, for a full and frank, honest answer, click on here, because this guy tells it as he sees it. If he thinks it's rubbish, he'll tell you it is rubbish. He'll tell you the warts and all review about MX Linux. He is very thorough and he's not being bought by anyone to say nice things about Linux distributions. If he likes it, he likes it. If he doesn't, he tells you he doesn't. He also writes some books as well. It's probably worth checking those out. Down here it tells you all the releases that have come out. So you can see MX Linux has been going a while, but you can click down here to see more MX Linux releases. And it takes you back to this release page here. And again, if you want to read news headlines, you've got these headlines here, and you've got more down here. And this box at the bottom, this tells you all the different versions, gives you the release date, when it's supported to, the price. Not all distributions are free. How big is the ISO image? What format is the image actually? Not all of them are ISOs, most of them are. How you install it, whether it's a graphical installer, whether it's a text-based installer, the default desktops, the Debian, the package managers, use. So in this case, it used Debian packages. The release model, so it's semi-rolling. You've got Office suites, the initial software, so whether it's System D or init. The file the file system, whether it's ext4, etc. Which languages it comes in. These aren't exhaustive. Full package list. You can click here, and then you've got a list of all the packages, and it tells you which versions of the packages are installed by default. And then down right at the bottom, you've got readers' ratings. 8.1 from 572 reviews. So that means that by and large, people like MX Linux. 8.1 is a very good score. And then you can leave your thoughts as well about MX Linux. So that's a lot of information, and that's just one distribution. And the page hit ranking has 100 of these. So 100 pages of information about 100 Linux distributions. But it doesn't stop there. We have more statistics. So your 100 is actually 272. There are 272 Linux distributions listed on the DistroWatch website. Now that doesn't mean there are only 272 distributions, by the way. There's probably more than that, but these are the ones that DistroWatch knows about. If it's not on here, I'd be very wary about using it, to be honest. And even then, if you get down to 272, do you want to be using the 272nd rated distro on DistroWatch? I mean, this one's had 12 hits per day. Now this list here, it tells you the rankings for the last 12 months, last 6 months, last 3 months, last 1 month. You can get the same thing from the main page. You can change this, and you can do a lot more. You can do the last 3 months, last 8 days, last 7 days, average rating, most ratings, trending past 12 months, all the way back to the year 2002. So, great resource. The one thing I'd say about the rankings is, right, people know about Ubuntu. So, a lot of people won't have come to DistroWatch to download Ubuntu or look at Ubuntu. They'll have gone straight to the Ubuntu webpage, and they'll have downloaded Ubuntu straight away. So they won't even use this resource. So that doesn't mean really Ubuntu is the 5th most popular distribution, because, you know, if you already know about something, are you going to go and read up on it from DistroWatch, or are you just going to go to the Ubuntu webpage and try it out? Okay, so in some ways this page hit ranking is flawed, because if something's already popular, then people might not come here to read about it. The second thing that makes it slightly flawed, I guess, is that if I'm a new user to this site and I see this page hit ranking, where are you going to start? You're not going to scroll down and go randomly click the one in 64th place, which by chance happens to be Arch. You're going to start probably near the top. So instantly you're going to click into MX Linux, which gives it one more hit per day straight away. So the ones higher up in the list are naturally going to get higher hit points than the ones a lot lower in the list. But that doesn't mean the list doesn't change, because based on what I've just said, the list would always stay the same, because people would always click the same few. So I'll show you. If we look at it now, Nabara is number 10 for the last 6 months. If we look for the last 12 months, Nabara is number 11. If we go for the year 2023, Nabara is number 16. So the list does change, and different distributions go up and down the list, and it's usually based around release date, because whilst you've got this ranking down the side, you've also got this news thing down here. So some people come to this page, see, oh, Red Hat, I'm going to click on this. So if I go into this Red Hat page here, it's going to take me into the Red Hat page, and now that's a hit. So it's not just a case of people clicking on this list. There's people clicking on their distribution releases and stuff like that, which will take them into these pages, which will give them hits as well. So this page hit ranking, whilst it's not a true guide as to how popular a distribution is, it's based on the people coming here, and reading about these different distributions, whether it's based on the latest releases. Now obviously a distribution that releases a lot and puts out lots of releases is probably going to get a higher ranking because people are going to see it in this middle bit more often and therefore more likely to click on it. So it might be skewed in that fashion, but by and large DistroWatch is a great site. It gives you so much information, and you wouldn't know about most of these distributions if it wasn't for DistroWatch. Who's heard of Regatta Linux? I haven't heard of Regatta Linux, but the fact that it's on this list and number 34, I'm going to click on that. I may look at that now and I'll go, it's a Linux distribution based on OpenSUSE. Oh, I'll give it a go. You see what I mean? It gives distributions a place where they're visible to the world, because we all know that Google's not going to show you everything about every Linux distribution. If you search for Linux distributions, it's not going to come up with Regatta OS straight away. How would Regatta OS be found if it wasn't for sites like DistroWatch? So that is the end of the video. DistroWatch is a great resource and I really like it. And if you're looking for your next Linux distribution, or if you want news about Linux, if you want to read reviews about different distributions, see what's the latest things, then distrowatch.com is a great resource for you as well. And that's the end of the video. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.